So in today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about something that I was working on with a student earlier in the week, and that's making your voicings when you're playing chords either in a band or behind a singer, and making them kind of feel like they're telling a story rather than you're just locked into these fixed shapes. Because it's something that used to confuse me quite a bit, and it's something that I find a lot of my students struggle with as well. So today we're going to be looking mostly at simple closed position triads and their inversions, and how we can make our guitar playing kind of tell a story rather than just sounding like fixed boxes. So the basis of my methodology for kind of creating this sound, and just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, let's say I'm playing a song that's a 1-4-5 in the key of C. So say I have that was C, F, G, then back to C. So that's fine what I'm doing there, but if we're playing a song, it tends to repeat the same chords quite a bit. So, 45 seconds of the same voicings in this kind of groove can get kind of boring, so maybe I throw in some inversions. I varied the rhythm a little bit there, which is all really, really good. But people, when we listen to guitarists play chords and we go, oh my god, he's so awesome, they tend to be throwing some different kind of stuff at us. And those things might be employing simple extensions and different things that you can fit onto them. So let me give you an example of what I mean. I'll do one kind of bland like I was doing, where it was a root position C major, 5th and bass F major, and a 5th and bass G major. And if you aren't familiar with these shapes, I have a ton of videos on my channel detailing these triad shapes that I'm using, and there's lots of free diagrams available to download from my website, link in the description there. But, so here's my kind of plain Jane version. That's now, if I wanted to make that a little bit more interesting and make it feel like there was maybe some dialogue going, one of the things that I want to do is look for some extensions or notes in the scale that are complementary, and I'll give you some examples of these while we go, that are around these chords to add some interest. So take, for example, this C major shape. So I have 5, 5, 3 on the G, B, and E strings. If I somehow get the 5th fret of the E string, that would be the note A, that's my 6th on this C major chord. And if you don't know how to figure out where those are, I have a video all on that as well. But basically, it's the next note in the C major scale that's above the note G. And that gives me something already to just kind of play off of. So when I'm on those Cs, I could be going, already sounding a little bit more interesting. Then on this F, if I bar my pointer finger, I get the suspended 4th, which is maybe not the world's greatest extension to play, but if I look up here, I have the 5th of the chord again. Now, I wouldn't play this F chord just like this, ever, for a long period of time, just because I have C, F, and C, so it's basically like a glorified power chord. There isn't a lot of harmonic information there. But if I want to make these chords dance a little bit, having that little note to play off of there can be really, really powerful. So to recap what I did there, so on the C, and then on G I have the same thing. That's a possibility for me, which is awesome, of course. So those two have good extensions above them to play off of. And then the next kind of step you can do is you can look, okay, what about on my B string, if I had a melody that was kind of playing off of that. So on C, I could have this, I can throw that quick little suspension in there, and if I play that, I'm turning this E into an F, which makes it a suspended chord, so there's no 3rd in it. So I have that at my disposal. Then when I go to F, this note on the B string, so this would be my 8th fret, that's the note G. That's my 9th, and that is usually a very complimentary sound to be on top of either a major or a minor chord. So over my F, which was 5, 6, 5, you might get this kind of sound, which gives you a little bit more melodic possibility to float on top of what you're doing. And then that same thing is available to me on that G triad. So just by finding a couple possibilities on those top 2 strings, I've opened up a whole new world of possibilities for me when I'm trying to play these. So to give you an example of what that might sound like here. Which is already super interesting. Now, let's repeat this process with maybe a different set of inversions. So if I start with, let's say, this C major up here, this is with the 3rd in the bass, or first inversion, so I have E is my lowest note, and this is 9, 8, 8 on the top 3 strings. Here, I have the 9th available to me on the 10th fret, I'm adding the note D, and then I also have the note A, which is, we learned down here, is my 6th. So over this chord, I have those options available to me. Then let's say maybe I played that F major in root position, where here I have those same 2 notes. This is a major chord. So if I use the same ideas, I know that I have the 6th up here at the 10th fret, and I can also play the suspended 4th if I go. And again, on a suspended 4th on a major chord, you really want to have that one be quick. You want to get to it and get off of it quick, just because if the bassist is playing behind you, he might play the 3rd, and if you play the 3rd, if he plays the 3rd, or she or they plays the 3rd while you are on the sus, you might end up with this kind of sound, which is not the world's most pleasant sound. So you don't want to hang out on it, you want to get away from it. And then let's say on that G, if we go to a root position G triad, which is 12, 12, 10, we have those same notes available to us as well. So we would have a 13th up top, and we would have that 4 down there. And that's some new options. So if I applied the same idea, and then we could play all of those together. And I think somehow I've flipped the harmonic rhythm of this, where now there's 2 bars of C and then 1 bar of F and 1 bar of G. But anyways, we'll go with that. So say I started out down here. Then there, I'm creating these little dialogues on top of my chords, and it can really help bring it to life. So let's do a quick example on another set of strings. Let's keep the same chord progression though. So let's say I'm doing this chord progression on the next set of strings down. So let's say I have a root position C triad here, and let's say it is, so that's 10, 9, 8. If I'm looking at this, I have the 6th on top of my B string there if I go to the 10th fret and add that note A. And then here with my pinky I can also play that suspended 4th on the G string. So that's a nice little bit for melodies. Now here, say I went to this, let's say we go down. So let's say that's our C. Then let's say I play F major with the 3rd in the bass. So this is A, C, F, or 7, 5, 6. Here on the B string, if I go up a note, I can end up on the 9th, so that gives me G. Sorry, my brain was processing for a second there. And then if I brought my pinky to the 7th fret, I can play the major 7th. That's a really nice note to add into that. And I could also extend the chord by barring my pointer finger up to the 5th fret of the E string. So there my kind of melody notes are, if I put my pinky down on the 8th fret of the B string, I get an F9. I could put it up to the 7th fret of the G string, which gives me a major 7th, or I could extend with a bar up to that A on the E string, which is just doubling the 3rd again, but again, the real point here is to make them dance and get some melodic variation. And then on G, those same notes exist, except here, rather than adding a major 7, since G is the 5 chord in the key of C, I wouldn't add a major 7 because that would be that would be F sharp, which is a note outside of the key of C. I would play that F there rather than an F sharp, so that's on the 10th fret of the G string, and that gives me a dominant 7 chord. So let's take a look at what that might sound like. So if I'm here on my C, oh, and there I cheated and I expanded the chord to the E string. So there, all of the stuff I was playing over this C with the 3rd in the bass can also apply extended down to there as well. So you can take everything that we did in the previous example and add it to these. So you could end up with and so that's just a really basic idea for making your chords dance a little bit more, adding some more interest into your chordal playing. I really hope that makes sense. If anything was unclear, please leave me your questions down in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you could know. If you're interested in taking a guitar lesson with me, I have a link to that down in the description as well. I've been working with a bunch of you guys from all over the world and it's been super, super fun to do so. And there's also links down if you want to support the channel by either purchasing my video course or my educational book, or join me on Patreon so you get some early access to videos and a more direct line of communication with me. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you get to have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.